If you like these stories, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Jennifer woke up feeling shattered. She had hardly slept all night. She thought about how she was going to get herself sorted out. Her husband Spencer was away on a business trip, and her daughter Kelly had to go to school. Usually, after school, Jennifer went with Kelly to swim lessons. But today, the girl didn't know what to do. She was afraid of Henry, the swim coach. She felt a growing interest in him, and it frightened her. She was thrashing around like a hunted lioness in a cage. Jennifer got married at the age of 19. Her husband, Spencer, was the first and only man in her life. Maybe that played a fatal role in her current situation. They met at a birthday party at her friend Ruth's house. Jennifer was a sophomore in high school, and Ruth was her roommate. They had rented the apartment where the big party had been held. When Jennifer first saw Spencer, she felt in her heart that he was the right guy, the trustworthy, dependable guy who would be a good father to her future children. That's what her husband should be. Spencer was from the same town as Ruth, only he was graduating from university. Einstein, Ruth called him. You can't go wrong with someone like him. Jennifer attracted the attention of guys and was quite charming. As a child, she practiced rhythmic gymnastics. She was not an outstanding athlete, but her beautiful posture remained forever. Slender, green-eyed, her features were harmonious. She had very thick, unusually beautiful wavy hair. A pretty, very pretty girl. Spencer was courting Jennifer in a very handsome way. At that time, he was already working part-time as a freelance programmer. He dreamed of creating his own company. Jennifer's parents had a pharmacy business. They had 2 pharmacies. Soon they bought their daughter a small apartment. It was left to be renovated, and Jennifer could live on her own. After half a year, Jennifer married Spencer because he was reliable and right. She loved him with all her soul, but had no vivid emotions. She was happily married, but she had been missing something for a long time. And now she'd met Henry. She felt a passion for this man that she didn't even know she had. She was afraid of losing Spencer, but she couldn't help thinking about Henry. She was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. The first time she saw Henry was at the pool. The man was walking toward her and smiling a white-hot smile. His athletic body, masculine features, and blue eyes were imprinted in Jennifer's mind like a photo she couldn't delete. Thinking back on how her relationship with Spencer had developed, Jennifer judged herself again. Why did I get involved with that Henry? In the 10 years of her marriage to Spencer, they'd already had their own county house and a substantial firm in her husband's possession. Jennifer graduated from the institute, but she never worked. They had a daughter, Kelly. Probably because of boredom and monotonous life, she decided to start flirting with the swimming coach. Henry was young, muscular. He always wore t-shirts that encased his knobby muscles. Maybe Jennifer had succumbed to curiosity. What would it be like to be with another man? She'd been to his house once, and yes, it had been a thrill. But Henry was somehow nervous, rushed. The husband was more affectionate. The morning after she had cheated on her husband with Henry, she couldn't get her bearings. On the one hand, images of her and Henry's exciting encounter lingered in her mind. On the other, her conscience tormented her to the point of exhaustion and nausea. Jennifer's phone received a text message from a stranger. I'm Henry's ex-fiancée. You ruined my wedding. I won't forgive you for that. You're going to pay for this. Have $3,000 ready, or your husband will find out. I have a video of you and my Henry walking to his house holding hands." "No, no, no. Spencer can't know anything." Jennifer's whole body trembled. A wave of horror rolled in and covered her head. She didn't know what to do at all. "Kelly, how are things going at school?" Jennifer asked her daughter nervously. She started the car engine and drove slowly toward the sports center where Kelly was swimming. Jennifer was waiting for her daughter in the locker room when Henry approached her unashamedly, looking like a winner. "Jennifer, can we get together tonight?" he asked. "I know your husband is coming in 3 days. Let's not waste any time. I keep thinking about you." Henry made no secret of the fact that he liked her. "No, no, I can't today," Jennifer said, and alarm sounded in her voice. "Is something wrong?" Henry wondered. "I'll call you," Jennifer replied, and taking her daughter by the hand as she came out of the locker room, quickly headed towards the pool with her. She could hardly wait until the end of the workout and could only recover a little when she got home. After waiting for the nanny, who sometimes came over to watch Kelly, Jennifer got in her car and headed to the bank to withdraw cash. All the way there, she felt like everyone was looking at her judgmentally and knew she was cheating on her husband. When she got out of the car, she noticed a long-legged, model-looking girl outside the house. Jennifer immediately felt that it was her, a predator in a short skirt and bright lipstick. "Give me the money." Without preamble, the girl uttered, "Otherwise, your naive hubby will find out." Jennifer silently took out the envelope and handed over the money and went back into the house. Fear and dread settled in her soul. What had she done? 10 years of a prosperous life and blown it all? Would Spencer forgive her if he found out? At first, she'd even tried to make excuses for herself. He didn't want her to work. "Honey, why do you have to work? Take care of our little girl. You have girlfriends. Go to fitness and beauty salon. I don't want you to get tired at work and stop taking care of yourself. And it's better for Kelly to be with her mom, not a nanny." The girl wanted so much to get out of these walls and find an interesting job, while Spencer was at work or on business trips from morning till night. Spencer often came home late, at 11 p.m., exhausted and tired. She, for her part, went to beauty salons 3 times a week and worked out at the gym with her friends. For the past few years, they had paid very little attention to each other. Jennifer was bored with that kind of life. Maybe a lot of people dream of a life like that. But Jennifer thought her life was like the movie Groundhog Day, and she really wanted to make a change and have a thrill. Now she'd experienced them. It was her own fault for getting herself into this situation. She'd flirted with Henry, she'd agreed to meet him. She'd created this mess, and now she had to unravel it herself. Jennifer didn't know what to do. She was afraid to tell Spencer about her cheating, but she was even more afraid that he would find out from someone else. She felt cornered and she saw no way out. Henry had stirred up a storm of emotion in her. She felt like a real woman again. She'd forgotten herself and fallen for his compliments. The next day, Jennifer called Henry and proposed to meet at a cafe at 12 o'clock while Kelly was at school. The girl decided to put a stop to their relationship. She needs to tell him that it was a momentary weakness, that she loves her husband and they can't see each other anymore. Let him marry his fiancée. Henry had bought coffee and was acting cocky, which Jennifer didn't like. She couldn't help but get the feeling that someone was watching them, or that she was the one who was already going crazy. "What's the matter?" Henry asked. "The husband's not here. We're here. We're wasting our time. Let's go to my place." "We don't need to see each other anymore," Jennifer said nervously. "Why, Jenny?" Henry said, reaching up and putting his hand over the girl's face. He stared at her intently. Jennifer tensed with her whole body and jerked her head away from his hand. With trembling fingers, she set the cup down and said angrily, "Don't you dare call me that. Only my husband can call me that." Henry took her hand and looked her in the eye. Jennifer jerked her hand away and felt ashamed. She couldn't turn off her feelings with her mind, but she could control her actions. "It's over between us. Don't call me again." The girl stood up quickly and walked out of the cafe. Henry looked at her, confused. Jennifer walked on, her thoughts jumbled in her head. "How vicious I am," she thought. "I love my husband, but I can't get Henry out of my mind." She remembered the time she had spent with him, when he had looked at her as if she were the most beautiful woman in the world. She realized that what she needed was not Henry, but that feeling of importance and attractiveness. "No, no, no. I have work to do. I'll go to my mom's travel agency. She'll hire me. I'll fill my everyday life with new experiences and forget all this nonsense." She stopped at an intersection and saw the same girl walking towards her. "Hi," the girl said wryly. Jennifer didn't answer. "Your husband is coming soon. I know that. Unless you want a scandal, you owe me another 3,000, she said rudely. "I don't have that kind of money," Jennifer mumbled. "Well, suit yourself," the girl sang out in an incredulous voice. "I'll wait until tonight. If you don't get the money, your husband will get the video tomorrow." She turned and walked away. Jennifer stared after her. Was this really happening to her? She called her friend Ruth. Ruth was married, and her husband had a construction firm. Ruth herself worked in the commodities business and made a good living. "Ruth, help me, please." Jennifer tried to speak calmly. "Can you lend me $3,000? "Wow, girlfriend, are you okay?" Ruth asked, fidgeting. "Talk fast. I have an emergency call scheduled." "Yeah, you know it's Spencer's birthday. You know it is. I want to surprise him, buy us some trips. They were a little more expensive than I had bargained for," Jennifer explained. "Okay, I'll lend you the money, of course," Ruth replied. "You're my closest friends. Why don't we meet after work?" When the friends met at the cafe, Jennifer looked around anxiously. "You seem nervous. Is something wrong? It's like you're afraid of something," Ruth remarked, looking at her friend carefully. "No, nothing." Jennifer waved it away. In truth, she was, of course, afraid, and that fear was eating away at her. She was ashamed again of what her friend would think of her. Am I really that vicious? Jennifer asked herself each time. "And I'll tell you something," Ruth smiled conspiratorially. "Dick and I are having a baby. I've been throwing up a lot, especially in the mornings." Jennifer noticed that Ruth had put on a little weight. "Congratulations, I'm very happy for you and Dick. I've decided to get a job. I can't stay at home anymore. I'm going crazy." "How are things with you and Spencer?" Ruth asked. "Yeah, it's fine," Jennifer replied quickly, and her smile seemed unnatural. "Okay, let's go already because I'm tired. I need a lot of rest right now. I can't wait for my maternity leave," Ruth added. Later, Jennifer met with the extortionist and handed over the money, but told her firmly that it was over, that she had broken up with Henry and had no intention of tolerating the extortion. The girl smiled wryly and silently walked away. Jennifer had no idea what would happen next. Eventually, her family fortune would collapse, she thought. A day later, Spencer arrived. "Jenny, sweetie, how are you here without me?" he asked nonchalantly. Her husband gently hugged and kissed his wife. His words made her heart squeeze. "That's it, I can't bear this burden. Now I will confess to him, and what will be?" she decided, but shame stopped her. At night, she had a dream. It was as if she was walking in a fog down an unfamiliar street. She is scared. She can't see anything. And suddenly, someone grabs her arm. She screams and pulls away, but it turns out to be Henry. She screams, "Let me go, you're hurting me!" And there are people standing around, and they're all pointing fingers at her. Suddenly, there was a chasm in front of her, and on the other side of the chasm is Spencer, standing there, calling out to her. She felt someone shaking her by the shoulders. "Jennifer, wake up! What were you dreaming about? You were screaming in your sleep," Spencer said as he moved closer and started stroking her head, just like a little girl. His eyes glowed with love, and she wanted to cuddle up to him tightly, feel the strength of his body, and tell him everything. "Spencer, I love you." "I love you too, my Jenny," he said in response. Will he forgive me? A dull thought drilled and drilled her brain. He glanced at his watch. 6 o'clock in the morning. We can get up now. Her husband hadn't left for work yet, and she had already received a text message. "I'm coming to see you. If I don't get $1,000, I'm telling your husband everything. I have a picture of Henry holding your hand in the cafe." No, she can't take it anymore. Half an hour later, the doorbell rang. Jennifer rushed downstairs like a wounded animal, trembling all over her body. "Who is it?" her husband asked. "It's an acquaintance of mine. She'd come to see me on some business. I'll tell you later," Jennifer called out. She walked out the door without letting the girl into the house. "I told you it's over. Do whatever you want to do, but I don't have any more money, and I don't need your Henry," Jennifer said with despair. "Actually, he's not mine. I'm just an acquaintance of his. Henry came up with a plan to make money. At first, he didn't even hope he could seduce you. And blackmailing you was quite easy," the girl continued. Jennifer's eyes blurred. The scoundrel was playing with her like a toy. Jennifer looked up and asked, "Why did you confess to me?" "I don't know. You just got lucky," the girl replied. "My sister called me while I was driving here and told me not to do evil today or all evil will come back to me. She's a good tarot card reader. So, I'm not going to tell your husband anything. And we don't have any pictures or videos. It's just a bluff. And you didn't even ask me to show them to you. In fact, I think you love your husband very much and you care about your family. Everyone can make mistakes. Our mortal world is made up of our mistakes." She turned and walked away. Jennifer went back to the house. Spencer left for work. Turns out, he heard everything through the intercom, but he didn't tell his wife. He wanted to think it over calmly. In the evening, he came home ready to have a serious conversation with his wife. "Jenny, we need to talk," Spencer said seriously, and the girl almost lost her senses. She wanted to start making excuses, but he beat her to it and said he wanted to speak first. "Honey, I know what you did, but listen to me first. I've been seeing a psychologist for several years now. 2 years ago, I had a major psychological crisis. I tossed around like a tennis ball between loving you and wanting to cheat on you. It was an obsession that drove me crazy and gave me no rest. I knew with my head and soul, and I still do, that you and I were made for each other. But the idea that I would belong to one person as property for the rest of my life did not give me peace. I wanted to love you and feel free. The thrill of the first date, the first kiss, the first touch. Everything was decided by chance on a business trip. I couldn't resist and cheated on you. The first thing I did the next day was to find a therapist and make an appointment. The thing I dreamed of happened, but other than the taste of bitterness, I felt nothing else. I needed to sort myself out. I didn't know then that you were experiencing the same thing. You and I were married very early, sweet Jenny. There are so many temptations in today's world. It's confusing to realize true values. I wish I had confessed to you and offered you therapy together. Perhaps together we could have avoided this mistake on your part. It hurts me that this happened, though I'm guilty to you, too. I'm sure we can work through this. I suggest we start by going to Dr. Benner's next session together. Jennifer was in tears, staring at the man she loved, unable to get a coherent thought into her head. All she could do was hug Spencer tightly, literally hanging around his neck. Through her tears, she whispered, "I'm sorry, love. I want to go with you to see Dr. Beck, and I want you to take me on my first date after my session with that doctor."